Redesigning non-human characters as humans has been around for ages. They're called Gijinkas, and they're mostly designed within the Pokemon fan art community. But redesigns can be tricky. How can I design a character that feels inspired by the original, but doesn't feel like a copy? These are the highlights from a stream where I took Pokemon suggestions from our viewers and designed Gijinkas for them. The first Pokemon, Pikachu, was chosen based on a community poll, and the other Pokemon were requested by the stream chat. By the end, I'd redesigned Gijinkas for Pikachu, Luxray, Gengar, and Zoroark. Pikachu was a little bit tricky because it'd been redesigned super often. However, every Gijinka I'd seen of Pikachu was pretty similar. Cute overall design, usually a frilly skirt, etc. But I wanted to do something different. So, instead of just redesigning Pikachu, I redesigned Ash's Pikachu from the anime, particularly from earlier seasons where he's a little more sassy and a bit of a troublemaker. Taking that into account, I let that Pikachu's personality inspire me to create this new scrappy looking character, which ended up kind of being a theme for the rest of the Pokemon that were requested. Luxray was one that I hadn't seen a ton of. Luxray's overall design rings a bit like a cross between a lion and a wolf for me, so I took that into account when I drew his hair. Luxray was also a stronger frame and a fiercer looking Pokemon compared to Pikachu, so I wanted that to ring in his design as well by giving him a stronger frame and a tough guy kind of outfit. Make sure that when you redesign anything, you want the design to refer back to the original without it being a carbon copy. Using the same patterns, shapes, and palette in new ways is a great way to make it feel fresh without completely deviating from the original design. I struggled a bit when it came to repeating the patterns in his original design, especially with those stripes on his legs, but I think I figured it out. Gengar was a little tricky, only because there wasn't much to work with. He doesn't have a ton of extra patterns or shapes. All in all, the only outstanding things about him were his two little ear things and his big grin. Of course, those being the only two things to work with, I had to include them within his Gijinka design. But another thing I took into account was that he was a very round Pokemon, so a thinner frame wouldn't make much sense. When designing characters, make sure that you have a variety of body types. Look around you, no two people look exactly alike, so it doesn't make sense for every character to have the exact same frame. While Pikachu I kept more childlike and Luxray a little more strong, I decided to have Gengar be a little more heavyset to match his original design. Because his design was quite simple, I kept his clothes a little more simple to match. I got especially excited when someone requested Zoroark, because it's one of my favorite Pokemon. Unlike the past two, Zoroark has a very thin frame, so I let that reflect in his Gijinka design as well. Unlike Gengar as well, Zoroark had a ton I could work with, including some very clothing-like fur. I also always find that I have trouble deciding what skin tones to give characters that don't initially have human skin tones, but when in doubt, I match the skin tone to the overall values that my palette has. Of course, you don't always have to do this, but I find that it makes the palette feel a lot more harmonious. As such, Pikachu was the only Pokemon that used primarily light values, so he was the only Pokemon that had a lighter skin tone. If you want to watch this drawing in real time, check out our livestream replay, link in the description below. I hope these tips can help you the next time you design a Gijinka or redesign a character. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Join our art community with the links down below, and support us on Patreon where you can download my working files and get perks like classes and critiques. If you enjoyed this video, here's a couple other videos you can check out next.